Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Vobie One-Eyed Kenobi Showbie with me, Richard Vobes. Hello, it's the 1st of February. Woohoo! It's another month. Oh, it's so exciting. We've got more lockdown to come. Oh, lovely. I can't wait to stay locked up in the winter when it's all cold and miserable and horrible outside. But don't worry, to keep me company on tonight's show, as ever, it being Monday, is, of course, the one and only, the very lovely, the incredibly beautiful and highly talented, I should say, lovely Julia. Hello, lovely Julia. She's looking behind herself. I'm putting my headphones on so I can hear her. How are you? Is she unmuted? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. Click. 1 minute. She's looking for the button. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I'm looking around for this other TLJ that you're talking about.
Oh, have you not met her?
No.
She stands in when you're not available. I'm talking about you, you fathead.
My head's not fat.
It's the camera. It puts on 25 tones. I don't know. Anyway, how the devil are you down there in Lancing, such a long distance from me?
I know. It's miles and miles and miles.
Miles. Do you know, only the other day, I can't remember when it was it Saturday? I went for a long distance walk to drop something off to you, and I set off really, really early in the morning, and I got there about late at night, and then I had to walk all the way back.
I know, how rude. You couldn't even get a lift there.
Couldn't even get a lift, but never mind. Not to. Well, I need the exercise, you see. I needed the exercise. I'd had a pork pie and I needed to walk it off. Anyway, never mind all that. I think there are some people out there in the fairyland that we call the Vobosphere. Is that right?
There is. Let me just tilt my other screen towards me a little bit.
Yeah, tilt it.
Right,
Careful. Don't let any of the viewers fall out, though, when you do tilt it, because we don't want them dropping off.
No, we don't want them dropping off, although we might send them to sleep by mistake. Good job we got some content, though, for them, isn't it?
Absolutely. We got a lot of content in today's show. It's content full. So, who have we got out there in the Vobosphere, lovely Julia?
We have the lovely Ernie Samat, the lovely Station Master's Choice, the lovely Vincent Quill, the lovely Bob Figg, the lovely Colonel Craig Ratty, the lovely Linda Kane, the lovely Judith, the lovely Paul Cockerill, the lovely Linda Kane, I said you again, lovely... Scrolling down. The lovely Kerry Baldwin, the lovely Anna Jones, the lovely Mark Burgess, the lovely Witchfinder General, the lovely Michael White, the lovely Tracy Strickland Mottram, the lovely Sean Ford, the lovely G Ramps, the lovely Tracy Murphy, the lovely Alan Sandell, the lovely Andrew Morris, the lovely Ron Langley, the lovely Ramabutu, the lovely Rasputin of Artington, the lovely Steve Baker, the lovely, looking for a new name, Dave Over Yonder, the lovely Eastbourne Couple, the lovely Clive Waterfall, the lovely Rick Gordon, the lovely Roy Ballinger, the lovely Woody Jenny, the lovely Mark Burgess. Did I say you?
Not sure, actually.
The lovely Ian Dance, the lovely Mike Stevens, the lovely Glyn Horton, the lovely... Can I see any new names there? I don't think I can. I think I've got everyone that's on my list.
And of course, if you didn't get done by the lovely Julia with the lovely, just consider yourself being lovelied.
Yes, you're all lovely. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. There we are. Stick around. It's going to be a hoot. So we have now. You may remember in Friday's show we had lovely Mike. I nearly said Mike Dixon then, and Bella. We hadn't had a video from Mike Dixon and Bella for a while, but he is out there. He does email me from time to time, and it's very nice. And looking forward to him. One of his marvellous videos in which he says, "Hello, it's Mike Dixon and Bella." we can't wait to see how Bella is doing, because if you remember the first lockdown, we were getting all that Bella stuff, weren't we? Bella was having a haircut. Bella was having a foam wash. Obviously, Bella had a load of walks. So we were getting all the Bella stuff, and so I'm a bit...
we miss Bella.
Yeah, we miss her. So Mike...
Mike.
Yeah, Mike, he's just the Bella handler, really, to be honest with you. We want to see more Bella.
Bella's agent.
Absolutely. Now, what I was going to say is, because I got a little bit confused, in Friday's show, we had Mike Stevens telling us the time that he met Jesus Christ, and that opened up quite a big debate, didn't it? We had quite an involved conversation, and a lot of people were asking curious questions. Well, Mike has made another another video to answer some of those questions, which was very kind of him. So we've got that in today's show. We also have, Sean has sent in, by happenstance, really, or coincidence, or maybe it was the universe. He has the answer, or the secret answer. That I think this is an old recording. I don't know too much about it. I'll have to look it up on the email that he sent in. But it sort of relates to it, I think, anyway. So I was watching the stuff as it comes in, and you go, oh, yeah, we got this. Oh, okay. Oh, that seems to sort of gel together, which is rather nice. We also have Sean's video that was, it's about 8 minutes long, but we will play it in today's show. And I think that's the one we're going to start off with because I promised to play that in before. Also, viewers are you one of the patrons, Julia? Are you one of the patrons?
Am I one of the patrons?
Yeah.
Well, I wish I could, but I have got no money.
You got no money? Well,
no money.
No money. I keep telling you to sort your bank account out, but yeah. Anyway,
I patronise you with patronage.
You are one of the patrons. You are. Well, you don't need to be a patron because you're one of the team. You're one of the workers. That was the response I was hoping to get from you. So I'm not a patron. I'm one of the workers, for goodness sake. I want my divvy from the money.
I'm too humble for that.
Yes. Well, if you were, and you probably have, you were a patron or are a patron, you would have heard Colonel Crag Ratty at the weekend in conversation with, this is the phone call thing that I do over about 45 minutes, telling us about his steampunkery and his mountain climbering. Did you see that? Hear that?
I haven't actually heard it yet, but I have it.
You have it. Well, he has also written a poem.
Oh.
Well, you know that because you've got it in front of you.
That.
you made that, and I was thinking, she doesn't know. She's not rehearsed.
Well, that's special, isn't it?
We spent all afternoon in the rehearsal room, in the BBC rehearsal rooms up in London, in Acton. I think they used to be in Acton. I don't know if they are still in Acton, but there we were, or Ealing Studios, rehearsing this. So you've got a poem, and you're going to read it out, which we've got coming up. Jonathan Fox has been in touch with me, and he has got an incredible story of coincidence, which I'm going to read out. I've got to make sure I can find it. And we also have some art and some photos. So we've got a fun-packed show, which is rather great.
Grand stuff.
So in the meantime, Julia, anybody saying anything interesting or any questions that have come up, we will, of course, try and get some phone calls in as well in the hour and a half.
Yes, we have Dave over yonder says, "Oh, patron."
Oh, patron. No, stop mucking about.
Welsh Wonder, Jason Patrick says, Julia must be Richard's secretary.
Yes.
Almost.
But not quite. I need a secretary. I need to be able to pay you full time. That's what I need. But of course, you've got children.
That would be really nice.
Yeah. Part time. Pay you part time.
Yeah. The Eastbourne couple say, "Is Eric with us tonight, Julia?"
Is he there? Eric, are you down there?
That's right, sir. I'm down here, sir. I'm archiving the show, sir.
He's archiving it. Eric, can you run faster on the treadmill?
I'm going as fast as I can, sir. I can't go any faster. Oh, blimey.
He seems to be in a bit of trouble, poor old Eric. Actually, we saw one of those down your park. There's a sort of a human hamster wheel, isn't there?
Yeah, they've removed some of the older equipment, which was kind of weird stuff anyway. Didn't quite know what to do with it.
Children's park. I'm talking about a children's park, just in case anyone was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I rather like it actually. This new big, like you say, it's like a hamster wheel, but
yeah, and humans get into it, and you run like that. And sillily, it doesn't sort of light a bulb or charge up your phone. That would be good, wouldn't it? If you could put your phone in there. I mean, kids, because I'm sure all kids have phones these days. You could chuck your phone in there, USB 3 or whatever, and then you run like mad for 20 minutes. Not only do you get good exercise, but you're also saving the planet by charging up your phone so that you can then watch a YouTube video which is powered up by some server somewhere, a bit like tonight's show, which is obviously using electricity. Probably half the rainforest in Algeria has used it. But, we do our best to try not to remember any of that. So, so there we go. How about that?
How about that? Colonel Cragrati says, does Julia have an Erica to match? Well, actually, I have my own Eric, but he's an Eric Toyce.
Yes, he's a tortoise, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's in hibernation, your tortoise, at the moment, isn't he?
He is. I checked on him yesterday. I'm debating whether to dig him out of the ground and stick him in a little wooden
Pot
box.
and warm him up.
Yeah, we'll keep him in...
Put him in the
my
oven.
laundry room.
Bring him round and bung him in the Essie. He'll be all right in there, won't he? Do you ever get tempted to... When he's asleep, do you ever get tempted to sneak up to him, slowly, because you don't want to surprise him, and then just bash very hard on his shell? Come in.
Well, you say that, but I kind of sneak up and unbury him a little bit and then just tap gently.
So tell the lovely viewer who's sitting there on the edge of his seat, or her seat, depending on the seat and who it owns, why is it buried? Why do you dig a hole 6 feet and shove him in during the winter?
I don't do that. He buries himself.
Oh, does it? Is that what
natural.
Tortoises do?
Yeah, they hibernate throughout the winter because they're reptiles.
Ah. Oh, right. Do all reptiles hibernate during the winter?
I'm not sure about hibernate, but they certainly do kind of go into a different metabolic state when they're cold.
Oh, right. I wish I could do that when I'm cold. Mind you, that would mean I'd be halfway through one of my Bald Explorer walks going, oh, look, this is a lovely landscape. Let me tell you a little... No. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, going into... hyperbolic state. Is it spring now? It could be. Could happen at weekends. Could be taken on holiday. Could be eaten by fish. Oh yes, you read that. Is Eric Charlie Drake? Says Bonnie Holland. Is it Charlie Drake? Hang on.
My boomerang won't come back.
It could be. No, definitely not. Charlie Drake doesn't have a lisp. I don't think so. And Linda Kane says, I had a meat pie for supper. She's had a meat pie. There you go. And I have to say, big thank you to Linda Kane and also Tracy Strickland, if she's out there. They've sent in some cash to me with an instruction.
Well, what's that instruction?
I've got to go and get these sodding boots. Some good quality, top-notch boots that will last me the next 5 years. They've very kindly sent in some cash, and
lovely.
They said, get the boots, get those bloody boots. And that's why I was slightly distracted when you came on and said, have you switched everything on? I was going, oh God, no, because I was trying to find, people had sent me emails with recommendations for boots, and you know what it's like when you can't remember who sent what in an email, and it's somewhere in the list, and I was going, oh bloody hell, where was it, where were all these different, I need to go and have a look and see about them. So I've got to try and dig out the recommendations. Okay. I just thought I'd pass that on. Anything else before we start our first video of the evening?
Linda Kane's... Oh, did you read that one?
I half read it. I read her name. Oh, she had a meat pie.
Meat pie for supper,
Yes, very nice. Wonder what kind of meat it was. Was it a pork pie? Or was it a beef pie? Was it a fish pie? That's not really meat, though, is it? Welsh pie?
One that Jason Patrick is asking how old my tortoise is.
Yeah, how old is it?
Hang on, I've been married for 11 years, so he's 12.
Oh, right. You've had him before you were married.
Wait. No, he's 13. Yes, he's 13.
13 years old.
Yeah.
How old does a tortoise live to? Just to give us perspective.
His species can live to about 70, 80 years of age.
Fudge cakes.
Yeah.
Ken Hodges. Blimey. That is a lot, isn't it? So his species, and what about... so he's only 13. He will outlive you then, potentially.
Yeah, he's...
Well, hang on a minute. How old are you? You'll reach...
I'll be 40 at the end of the year.
Yeah, so he's 13. So he could, in theory, just keep going on. Do we know, by the way, if... One moment.
They're an heirloom pet, by the way, that's why. Well, that's why I call him an heirloom pet. Because one of my sons will inherit him.
Do we know if Gilbert White's tortoise is still alive?
Definitely not. No, it died in his lifetime.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it died in his lap.
No.
It's hard in his bath. It got in there, it's having a good scrub down. La 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 la. It's like getting in the bath is always fun. La 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 doo doo. Under the arms, under the legs, under the shell. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Something like that.
An old toothbrush.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to clean my teeth ever again. The thought of that. Now, okay, we better. It's disgusting thought.
Not brushing your teeth. Ooh.
Yeah, well, I just take them out and put them in a special sort of dissolving fluid. There we go. Right, I think we better go into the video box and get our first video on the cusp and on the recorder ready. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
I'm ready now. Bing. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as if by magical trance of a fine thing, we have our first video, which we're going to play in. Sean's one. Now, this did go in the Bald Explorer group the other day, but not everybody will necessarily have seen it. 121 people watching. It's very kind of you. 24 likes. Give us a thumbs up if you can, manage to get the mouse to click on that thing. This is in search of a viaduct that is no longer there. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but it's probably given the game away. But in search of something that... I'll just show the last minute then. No, not at all. No, it's not. We know it's not there because I think he says it at the beginning. Not quite sure. If he doesn't say it at the beginning, slap me one. But not at the moment. Anyway, Sean, take it away. I forget what Sean's name is on the... I don't like to sort of give people's real name unless it is on the... Sean Ford, it's on there. There we are, Sean Ford. Yeah. He says, I saw it in my mind. That's right. And I think he does show us a picture of it, so it's not completely pointless excavation. Sorry, that sounded like he was digging it up. You have to watch and see what happens.
Exploration.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, not excavation. Silly old man. Right, here he is. Sean looking for the missing viaduct. Well, of course, that wasn't it. That's coming at the wrong... I've labelled them 1 and 2. And I've labelled them the wrong way round, didn't I? I was slightly concerned because they looked like there was some buffering. That's why I was a bit late on there. Yeah, sorry about that. That was the wrong one. Henry is very excited, though, however. Let's do this the right way round. This is a bit like the BBC when they first got going, in those days of pioneering television. This is pioneering live showing. Although we should have got it slick now after 3 years of giving it a whirl. But never mind. Here it is.
Hello, I'm Sean. I'm going out on a walk today around this area here called Coombe Valley Countryside Park. And I'm going to look, I was originally going to look at the new road, bypass road that was put in 2015. However, it's going to probably be waterlogged. So I thought, I looked up the area yesterday and show you where there was a viaduct running from Crowhurst, the train line running from Crowhurst to Sidley. And I've been out here for many, many years actually, and actually discovered where the viaduct was. So I shall walk along this path here. I won't film it all because it's a bit shaky and a bit muddy, and then we can have a look at the area where that viaduct was. So here we start heading, following the crow, and I'm going to be heading out to that area here. All along here is where the train line came along, and yeah, the crow's just going to show us where it went to, which went straight down from Sidley up there to Bexhill, 7 miles long, and it was originally there, built in 1902, survived till 1964 when Beating had his way and got the railway line closed down, and it was a link that took to Charing Cross. So from Crowhurst you could go into Hastings and St Leonard's, but this one took you through here to Sidley over yon, and then further down another 4 miles right down to the seaside of Bexhill West Station, which of course is sadly no longer with us, and sells antiques. So just along here now, the viaduct went across there. So let's get a bit closer and show you some more. Don't know if you can see, but there are some beautiful wild geese just up there on the hill. A flock just flew over as well, so you've got to be quick on your camera phone here or whatever you're using. And I'm nearly there. It looks like it's really waterlogged, so I'm definitely not going to be able to get across to show you the bypass today. Oh, there we go. Phone out of the way. They've flown northwest by west. And here we are. So this is the site of the viaduct. As you can see, I can't get across to the bypass today. It's completely waterlogged, more so than normal. The last time I got across was the end of October last year, and my Wellingtons were just tall enough to get me through there across. The bypass is just coming along there. There are some geese just flying over. I'm filming them right, sorry. So there's lots of wild geese, swans, heron out here. There's a man-made, human-made reservoir over there. I'll show you that next time. The viaduct stretched from, there's a sort of a hill point over there, 380 metres across to that point up there, which is where I'm going to go next, which is now a lovely little park area. They put benches out there. It's really a place like you can have a nice morning breakfast or a late breakfast. Anyway, the viaduct had 17 arches, was 20 metres tall or 67 feet high, so it was a big piece of engineering. 9 million bricks, took something like £244,000 to make, which is quite a lot of money at the turn of the last century, 1902, and then it was demolished in 1969, I think. Took 2 stages, and then there's a film on the internet you can find which you actually see it being blown up, which is quite sad actually. Although the trains had stopped coming across here, it was quite sad to see some of that, and to imagine that across here, that sort of beautiful piece of architecture, let alone engineering, that took the train across here, all the way along that path there, to Sidley, which no longer exists, as in the train station that is, it's now a garage, and then from Sidley down to Bexhill. Right, let's go up to the top there. And here we are. I was just down there. You can see that little bit of land over there, and this is where the viaduct ended, and then came along. The rest of the railway line came along there, heading towards Sidley. So it's incredible to think. I mean, I've been up here many times, and only last few months I've discovered this little part here, because it used to carry on. Well, it didn't used to carry on, it used to stop, but you could just carry on down the hill and fall into a pond or something. But they put this lovely little park area here, which is absolutely sweet and a real treasure, and I think I've come up here for many a coffee. Geese are over there as well, so there's so much to see in wildlife and nature. Right, so what I'm going to do is walk along the railway line now. I won't film it all again because it's quite shaky on this mobile phone as well. Let's get one of those GoPro, sounds like a breakfast cereal, get one of those things, and then just take you to one more point and then we're done. Geese. So we're sort of halfway across now, coming along the railway line, just coming up to what will be a little bridge that we'll walk over in a moment. And funny enough, I just heard the distant sound of a train horn with the actual Bexhill line going along by the seaside, by the seafront, so it's right along by the seaside, and you can still hear it up here every now and again when it goes, "Ooh," which is the noise of a train making a hooting noise. That is. There's nice little parking areas up here as well. Just past somebody walking their dog, so it's a very popular dog walk as well. I've come up here many a time. My beloved dog walked along here, and just up there is some woods that belong to the farmer. I think it's called Coombe Woods, So Coombe Valley Parkside, or Coombe Valley Way is the road going along there. It'd be interesting to read about the names of places. Plenty of beautiful crows out here as well. There we go. All deep in the woods, in Coombe Woods. So the name like Coombe, for instance, where that comes from and the history behind it, because you get so much just from a name of a town or a village, ending, especially that end in tun or shan, whatever it is, are Saxon names. So I shall cease from talking and wobbling my camera phone, and then just finish up. And there we go. There's the bridge. The train would have passed over, and then taking you straight to Sidley Station. Back in the early part, most of the early part of the 20th century. So thanks for watching. I'm heading back now, and if you do like it, I'll put it up on YouTube. Thumbs up, the usual thing, if you glance upon it. And I shall make some more and do the bypass to show you how actually that's quite, say, improved the landscape. It does damage like it usually does, but they planted loads of trees, they've made reservoirs, it's brought in a lot of wildlife. There's lots of scientific studies going on out here in the Coombe Haven area. So lovely place. Thanks for watching.
And there it is. How marvellous is that? That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Sean. And what a lovely personality you have, with loads of knowledge when you go out doing your walking. I was sitting there thinking to myself, that's how I ought to do it. I ought to do it where I actually know something. I mean, if you notice when I go out, I mean, I don't know why I've got 17,000 followers following my nonsense, because often I go out there, I don't know the blind bit of thing about I'm doing, and I'm waffling around about nothing. Sean actually knew what he was talking about. He put it over incredibly well. He walked miles at the same time. And he did a brilliant job, I thought, and it was fascinating to watch. What do you think, Julia? Oh, hang on, let's see if I can shove you back on slightly larger. There you are. Look.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it?
Fantastic. And I just love the fact that, you know, I mean, I don't know very much. That's my problem. When I go out, I don't really know very much, but I'm good at just sort of waffling about stuff and going, oh, look, there's a tree. Look, it's a nice tree because it's got a bark on it and branches. And, oh, there's some leaves. Or, oh, no, there isn't any leaves in this. So,
Oh, look, there's a purple pixie wrapped around the trunk.
yeah, that's my method of doing it. But I would love to actually have a body of knowledge. You'd think after sort of 3 years of doing daily videos that I would, 3.5 years or whatever it is, that I would actually, yeah, something like that, that I would actually know. Yeah, I would actually know something. I've got all these bloody books, but I can't seem to retain the stuff or get it out, which is a shame. But yes, do check out Sean's YouTube channel. What's your? I can't remember off the top of my head, Sean, what your YouTube channel is. People who've got them, very often, you know, this show isn't about trying to not share things. So if you've got a channel and you've sent us a video, I'm more than happy to get people to go and help, add.
Subscribe
Yeah,
and-
because I think people would take to you. You do it so well. So that's good. I do see the pixies too, he says. Do you? I bet you do. That's marvellous. How are the comments coming in, Julia?
Yes, we've got lots of lovely comments. 9 million bricks. Who counted them? Said Bonnie.
Yeah, that's it. I always think of that. You know, how do they know it was 9 million and not 8,852,475?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, that's what I thought it was likely to have been.
I'm assuming it's an approximate guess.
Oh, right. Yeah, probably.
Apparently, you are an expert in mud, says Jen Cohen.
Yes, I am an expert in mud, and very, very thanks to my lovely patrons. I'm going to get some boots, so I'm not likely to slip up. Well, I can still slip up in it. I guess people, that's what they really want from me, is to see me slip up in the mud. That would be their joy of joys.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
did you watch the murmuration video from Floating Our Boats?
Yes, from floating our boats.
Floating our
Floating. I
boats.
did, yes, the murmuration. Wasn't that splendid?
Yes. Didn't you see poor old Rich take a tumble down the
I
little
saw the
muddy
camera
stairs?
go, "Blah!"
Yeah, well,
I
that's
did
what-
see that, yeah. Yeah.
Bean. I hope his shoulder's all right.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, no, it was lovely to see that. And of course, I was thinking as I was watching that, it's nice to see Victorian architecture in a bit of a wasteland like that. It's like stumbling across a gem. There you are in the landscape, and nobody wants to ruin the landscape. And I'm sure at the time when they built it, there were people thinking, oh, what's this thing going up here then? We don't like this. Bloody invasion of this. What's this newfangled steam thing? Is it railway? Is it? Why can't they hug the ground like everything else? My horses hug ground, don't they? Eh? But seeing as they, my horses.
Oh, that's what you said.
I think that was what I was trying to say. Anyway, it might have come out something different. But yeah, it's nice. It would be nice to have seen that because if you're following the lifted up railway line as a walk, you could then continue on. I love going across, on a walk on a disused railway, and then you go across actually a piece of architecture because it breaks up the walk from being quite boring. This is why I don't really film very many of them. I don't know enough about old railways to talk and wax lyrical. But I find, you do a 100-metre stretch, it's pretty much the same. Your stopping points are quite some distance, which is why I think Dumpman goes on his chopper bike, because he can get further along and then stop and go, oh, look, there's a interesting feature here, and then another mile, there's an interesting feature. Whereas, me, I walk about 10 paces and I've made the video. Yeah,
speaking of interesting features, Dumpman has a few himself by the medium he likes to use.
Yes.
The bike he likes to ride and the T-shirt he wears.
Yes, he is a man of the past, isn't he?
Yeah, well, we all have our little niches.
That's not a criticism. I'm not criticising old Dumpman. I want to shorten this cable, really. No, I think Dumpman is great, and what he does is fantastic. And I just wish he had a YouTube video channel so that we could watch him more frequently than have to buy a CD. DVDs.
If you did that, then people wouldn't want to buy the DVDs.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I understand. Je comprends pas, as they say in Belgium. Ed Loud says, you can clearly see it's 9 million bricks. It's not exactly a hard number of bricks to count, is it? Oh, hang on, let's have another go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's true. Jonathan Fox says, Bold Explorer, your videos are terrific and you are fishing. No, I'm not fishing for anything. I'm just, I like to be able to, the freedom to be able to laugh at oneself, I think, rather than panic about what you do. I'm comfortable with what I do, so I can, what is it they say? You can be,
I'm not sure what you're getting
at. When you, self-deprecating. I can be self-deprecating because...
Well, let's face it, if you can't laugh,
exactly. I can take the piss out of myself because if I can't take it, then and I don't care, then other people do. That's what I'm saying is, if you're too precious and people go, oh, I didn't like that video because you didn't walk enough steps, or you didn't shut that gate. It's like, well, whatever, go and make your own. Who cares?
Self-effacing, says Michael White.
Oh, self-effacing. Is it? What did I say? Self-deprecating. Is that not the different? I don't know what that means. Yeah.
But I think self-effacing is the usual.
Is that the term? Sorry, I got that completely wrong. I cocked that up again. Oh.
Why not?
Why not? Who cares? There's plenty of ego massaging on here already. Thank you. And Benita says Guan is gloopy porridge.
Gorm.
I don't know what gorm, where that came from.
It's a description. Well, it's a word to describe the mud in Sussex, apparently.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
What is it, 50 words? Oh, no, there's loads of words.
Is that like the Eskimo thing? 552,971 different terms for snow. Which I think I read somewhere else or heard somewhere else. Actually, that's not true. That they basically only have 1 or 2 words for snow, not the 250 that people often use. I think that's an urban myth.
Well, there are different types of snow and ice, and all sorts. So I think, loosely speaking, yes, but technically no. Does that make sense?
Yes. No? Robert Croser says, I've offered to take Richard on the S&C, whatever that is. Richard, you wouldn't go. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was going to take me on a train. And he said, I'll take you on this train. You can poke the camera out the window. And to me, that's boring. Because
you weren't keen on it at the time, were you?
I mean, I'm sure it's a nice thing, but if you're going to do something like that, I think you have to do the way that the, what's his name, Portillo does it. Get on the train, see you getting on the train. But just sitting on a train with the camera poking out the window saying, oh, there was a, oh, it's gone now. And over the, oh, it's gone now. Is is like a bit dull. I think I approach it from a filmmaker's point of view as opposed to somebody who knows what's in there. And also, I have to always remember that most of the audience don't really know and aren't sort of as hell-bent on the subject as probably I am. And so if you give them too much information, they sort of fall asleep. You all right? Something wrong with your lips?
My lips look funny. Don't worry.
Oh, I wasn't worried,
Very
to be honest.
unprofessional.
I thought lumpy porridge was Gruts. Settle and Carlisle Railway. The Seattle one's probably more interesting. I'm sure it's a lovely railway. I'm sure if I lived up in the air, I knew the history and you knew the things. But just sticking the camera out, that's why. It was a steam train, and we could have got off on the way. Yeah, I guess he'd blotted his copybook, really, taking me to that
I knew
monastery.
he liked you. Didn't know he liked you that much.
I know. Well, as I say,
Get off with you on the way.
taking me to the monastery was probably, where everything went sour, or south, as they say.
Anyway, the train thing it's not your thing.
It's not my thing. Plenty of people do train things. I mean, people like Sean know about it. I don't know anything about. And Henry,
like Henry's Adventures and Bernie Station Master's Choice, and even young George.
Yes, George Timperley, who, let me tell you,
He's all grown up and moved on, hasn't he?
He's got up. George Timperley was 13 when we made a couple of videos. One was at the Bluebell Railway, and another one was at the Spa Valley Railway. And I know nothing about old steam trains. I know that you stick coal in one end and white smoke comes out the other, and there's water somewhere in there, and people get on and people get off covered in soot. That's about my knowledge of it. And I quite like it that way. I let everybody else tell me that this was a 24mm cranking pin that's been soup duped and stone slurred on the other side of the wrinkle fankle. If people want to know that stuff, that's great. But he was 13 and he took me around these things. We made some videos, we put them up. Now I think he's 14, 15. He's a little bit more into girls, shall we say. And he did email me and said, Richard, I'm getting the piss taken out of me for liking the trains and stuff. And now I'm cool and I'm wearing cool clothes and I, brill cream my hair and I've got boots on which I can see my face in. So could you remove those videos? And I thought, well, that's, it's a bit of an ask, but I said, yeah, all right. So I've unhidden them. I mean, I've hidden them. I've hidden them for now. You can hide them, they're there. So that when he's a bit older and it's like, yeah, I don't care what I was like when I was 15, I was just going through a phase as kids do when they get to that sort of age. I thought, okay, I can unhide them and there'll be a whole new audience ready to look at George Timperley and me looking completely idiotic, being told by a 13-year-old all about engines.
Yeah.
Sorry, you looked. I thought you were looking at the comments about to launch into a whole load of them.
I was just trying to get. Henry's Adventures says, I used to get made fun of for liking trains, but I got through it.
Yeah, well done. Like a tunnel.
Mark Tony McLeod says, I think we can leave the trains to Henry and others who do trains and such.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point me trying to learn about train. I'm thinking about doing bloody English history, let alone trains and stuff.
Robert Croser says, just don't mention the monastery.
No, I know. It's too late. Too late. You're an explorer, not a train person, says Ron Langley. Thank you very much. And I said Ron Langley, not Wrong Langley. But you're right, Wrong Langley. Anyway, I think we better do some... Langley. Yes. Should we look at some art? Some art? I think we shall. Hang on 1 second. I pressed the wrong button again. My thanks there to the very lovely Andrew Norris, who has, by a very sort of, well, it's a video and it's kind of art as well at the same time, as well as being landscape heritage and nature. So I don't know what bracket we put that in, but it's brilliant, and you wait till you see it. Andrew Norris has stung us all again with another piece of uniqueness, but we're coming to that shortly. First of all, I need to get into my emails. Here we go. Now, Robin has been out with his camera, and at first I thought this was a self-portrait. No, that's not nice, because actually, have a look at this. This is from the very lovely Robin Jones, and it is a robin. Bit of wonderful photography. Look at that, sitting on a a fence post or something like that. What a beautiful specimen.
Gorgeous.
Isn't that nice?
So cute.
And
Look at his little red chest.
I'm desperate to get a long lens so that I could, capture those moments. But in filmmaking or in wildlife stuff, you've got to have the patience of a saint. And I don't have the patience of a saint. But that is beautiful. Thank you so much for... Yeah, sorry. Thank you so much for that. We have some more art we're going to get to. Oh, let me just do one more because I promised to do this in 2 shows and forgot. This is Susan Luca. Let me just get back out of that and do Susan's because this is Susan's and she says, Dear Richard, along with the short films on Street Gate Torcross I sent in, which she did, which were in bits, I have to say. I'm sending you a painting that I have never finished from 10 years ago, and I was amazed to see that most of the rocks have now gone from the shoreline after many storms of recent years. But I may now finish the painting having observed the sea. The pot is... Oh, and the pot is a different one. Pot is called Sandstorm. Let's have a look at the painting first of all. This is unfinished that Susan, having sort of looked back and thought, do you know what? I'm going back to do it. So this is work in progress, I suppose they call it.
Lovely.
Isn't that nice?
You can see the texture of the canvas underneath it.
Oh, of course, the jolly old canvas.
Yeah, the clicking of fingers.
That good old clicky fingers canvas. That stuff. Yeah. Very nice. And then
Did you say where that was?
She may have done. I can't tell you without going back to the email, which I will in a minute. And this is she's down in South Hams in Dorset, in Devon rather. And this is Storm Pot, another one of her pieces. Is that
a raku?
Yes, that's that funny, heated thing that she has. Marvellous.
Was it a quick fire or something like that? A Japanese style pot?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's a process. That's the process.
Oh my God.
Which I know you appreciate. What did she say about the... this is a painting finished 10 years ago. I don't think she said where it came from. The rocks on the shoreline, I guess, in Torcross, somewhere in Devon.
Well, it rocks anyway.
It rocks. Thank you so much, Susan. Sorry that I didn't get to play it. I'm just so disorganised. We're going to play another video. How are we doing on the time? Golly. And then we're going to go to a poem by a wonderful Colonel Cragratty, which you're going to read in. But we'll go into the video thing first of all. And Nikki has been out and about to take us into a bit of landscape country and churchyards, in fact.
Today we're at a windy Hardingham church. I'm just having a walk round St George's Church in Hardingham. And in 1984 they did a survey here, and there's 55 wildflower species in the churchyard and surrounding it. I find that absolutely incredible. Can't wait to come back when it's summer. Whether you can see down there, the yellow, there's a swathe of aconites. Look absolutely lovely on that mound. And in there's a special tree that the Reverend Walker Whiter made a chant, a poem, a song about it. And on April the 23rd, on St George's Day, lots of children came out and danced around the tree, and it goes something like this. Around this tree of trees we go, in pageant guise and glee. which drank with joy our mystic streams, all hail the Holland tree. Heroes the trees in days of yore, thus will the bard recount. And there the ancient bounds are traced, here stood St. George's Mount, and the Holland tree indicates the home oak tree. But sadly I can't find it today. It's somewhere in the private bit, in that little copse there. What a stunning example of a silver birch tree, the tree of transformation.
There we go. Was it 55 species of wildflowers in the Hardingham Church? That was marvellous. Thank you so much. 55. I always think I remember listening to a BBC Radio 4 programme on the wireless. It makes me feel old when I say wireless. It's because everyone else says radio. And this was a programme, I think, from like 1970, but it was being replayed. And I was lying in the bath one day, sloshing, you know. And it was this programme, this wildlife programme, and they were going around a churchyard. And of course, they pointed out that churchyards are one of those rare places. And of course, there are churchyards all over the country, and churches are usually pretty old, apart from the sort of Victorian ones. And the thing about it was they're pretty much, the soil there, apart from the graves that are dug up and bodies are shoved in, is pretty much untouched. And so you get these very rare species of flowers that have gone from the field immediately the other side of the church perimeter wall. And, you know, so you can have all these amazing species. So it didn't surprise me there's 55 different. So in fact, I kind of thought there might be more.
They're like wildflower sanctuaries, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll tell you what, that silver birch, oh my gosh, that was like a visual, tactile treat for mine eyes. I was like, oh, love to get my hands on it and give it a nice stroke. That sounds dodgy, but it's not.
No, I didn't think it was at all dodgy.
No, it wasn't to you. It was to anyone else who might be watching.
Yes,
who doesn't an upstanding regular.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't know that you are the freak you are. No. I'm joking. Yeah, so
and those snowdrops looked lovely, didn't they?
Good
to see them. Woo!
And the thing is, I mean, I've seen one load of snowdrops again in a churchyard when I was in the place the other week. Where was I? Down at where in East Sussex. I haven't seen any in West Sussex. In Firle Church, St Peter's Church, and there they were. And I haven't seen. I've been in a few woods. We've seen the stalks of.
Yeah, I was going to say I've seen the leaves coming up, but I've not seen any of the actual blooms yet.
Yeah, daffodils are on their way. I filmed right at the beginning of January. I filmed a daffodil that was open, but I don't think that was a native species. I think that was a species from somewhere else. It wasn't plastic; it was real, but it was just one singular thing. Curious and curious.
Was it a Diddy one?
It was no, it was a normal size, but it was like a freak of. Yeah, never been ploughed. That's, as Linda Kane says, the churchyards. So I think churchyards are, and Dean Cooper said, they're full of history. And of course, the great thing about that is you could have that church surrounded by lots of monoculture on farmland, and all the insects and all the wild, the birds and the things, they're all in there and nowhere else, when of course they should be everywhere. And then the sad thing is, of course, some of these places go and trim the blooming grass all the time, so that the flowers and stuff don't get a chance to grow.
The trouble is also with the monoculture, the more we have of it, and the longer we have of just that, the less likelihood we are going to have of the recurrence of, the regeneration of all those wildflowers, because they could spread outside of the churchyard. But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure they do try. But these other grasses and things are just so predominant that they don't have a chance. But it's nice when you see churchyards where they've left the grass to grow.
Absolutely.
Up. And I love that. I know some people sort of think, oh, that's a bit disrespectful, but I actually think it's quite nice, especially if the graves are old. If it's your mum and she's just been shoved in the ground with a big stone stuck on top of her head, then maybe you do want it a bit more respectfully cut. But if it's from 1850 or 1678 or whenever, I think it's quite nice because it reminds you that's from the past, and it's sort of all going to seed, if I can say that without using too much.
I do love it when they leave the grass and everything to grow as high as it wants to.
Yeah.
It does make me feel like a real pixie, because I'm like,
absolutely. And then if they let the sheep in, that's quite nice. Let the sheep graze on it naturally, because that's actually very good for wildflowers. The treading down and all of that.
And the manure.
And exactly, and the manure and stuff. Although a lot of wildflowers, they like a not very fertile soil. Curiously, lots of Nuki says Nutka, sorry, says lots of wild areas in most churchyards here, part of nature in the Norfolk church. Well, you're right. When I went to Norfolk with Kevin 2 years ago now, or a year and 18 months ago, whenever it was, we went round a few churchyards, and some of those churches, because there's a lot of churches there in a terrible state of neglect where they've sort of tumbled down, but they've left them, and the churchyards are full of those wildflowers, which is fantastic. Churchyards are full of worms. Yeah, I bet they are. They've got nice juicy bodies to eat. Oh, used to. Perhaps they don't have them anymore. So there we are. Now, we are going to read a poem. Well, say we. The lovely Julia has a poem which has come in from Colonel Cragratty, Pete Telling, otherwise. And I believe it's about somebody we may know. Well, about a pair of people we know, if I've got that right.
Yes. In Lockdown Days by Pete Telling, a.k.a. Colonel Cragratty. The bold explorer wanders by, along the path and over the stile, exploring here, exploring there, taking us out from our armchair, roaming around in his new van, complete with cooker, camera in hand, inspiring us to get outside, to admire this land with great pride. The lovely Julia is often there, to accompany him with filming to share, walking the path, hugging a tree, for history lovers so much to see. Between them both we learn so much about lost buildings we cannot touch, of trees and leaves to name a few, and all the time such a view. In lockdown days we need this man to continue to travel about in his van, to clear our heads of doom and gloom and prepare us all to get out soon. I am from Worthing and Goring born. I love the way I see my old home. While stuck inside, all locked down, I explored with delight my old hometown. Border walking Sussex by the sea, revisiting childhood days with glee. Memories flood back of bygone days. For you, Richard, I have such praise. The Bold Explorer and the Vobes Show have given me more than I could have known. To share my art and my climbing world, it's an honour to see it all unfold. So, Richard and Julia, do carry on with all your travels. It is such fun for us to watch your humorous tales wherever you go, uphill or down dale. Written in January 2021.
Oh, how lovely is that? That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Colonel Craig Ratty, to pen a poem in the vein of Julia and I doing our thing. It's that's so it's touching. I'm always surprised by the warmth and love that comes back from the viewers. It is incredible. In so many different ways. That's the thing, It's like, who writes a poem? What's John's name? John. I can see it, but I can't. On the YouTube, who writes poems after almost every. Brian, Byrne, something like that.
Byrne.
Yeah, that's it. Every day there's a poem on one of the videos, and it's just so lovely. And then sometimes they're more tailored to what we are, and some of them they're clearly from a selection of poems that he writes. He must just write profusely, which is fantastic. Fantastic poem, says Sean Ford. Dave over yonder says Brillo. Mark Donny McLeod says I'm a bit of a musician. Station Masters General says great poem. Lovely reading, Julia. It was a lovely reading. Good rendition. Thank you very much.
It was easy to read, it's really well written.
Oh, well, we must get you some of Wordsworth's stuff to read out.
I used to know some Wordsworth stuff.
Isn't he that he did the daffodils, didn't he? He did the very famous one. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high on vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the tree, they nestle soft as babies, fluttering and dancing in the breeze like Magnus Pike with rabies. I think that was his, wasn't it? Magnus Pike, of course, for the older people, was a science presenter who used to use his arms and was very, very enthusiastic back in the day. Good old Magnus Pike. Whatever happened to him? Oh, he died. So now I've got a story here from, and I should have prepared myself whilst you were reading, because I had the option to do that, and of course
you were just awestruck by the wonderful poem, weren't you?
I was indeed, yeah. So this is. I just got to find the email now.
I'm going to have to Google who Magnus Pike is.
Yeah, go on. Oh, hang on a minute. I'll give you a picture of Magnus Pike.
I had to Google Charlie Drake earlier.
Charlie? Oh, did you?
I don't recognise that person.
No, well, of course, it is a while before your time.
Yeah, I suppose I should forgive myself because I did, there were things I missed from living in Saudi Arabia, some UK culture that I didn't get to partake in or see much of.
My keyboard is incredibly slow now. What is going on? It's on. I can't write the words. They're not typing. Why aren't you typing? How embarrassing is this?
How strange.
Magnus Pike. Come on, Magnus.
I could do it by blinking self. Look, like this. Look. Oh no.
Yeah, but I can't.
Right instead.
Can you? You can't show a picture, can you?
No, I can't.
This is typing. It's done. No, it's having a. I don't know. Are we still? We're not buffering or anything. Dean Cooper says, "I remember Magnus. Take the handbrake off your keyboard." Yeah, I wish. Mate, I'll come back to it in a minute. Let me read this story and then see if it's decided to work. It might be the batteries. I don't know. I had this problem the other day, but I think it's just the computer was the Wi-Fi on it was just sort of. It's a Wi-Fi keyboard. I'd much rather have one with a wire in it, really, because you can always trust the wire is going to be connected, unless it's not. This is from Jonathan Fox, who is a big fan, and he sent this in. He says, you might be interested in this, an unexpected reunion. He says, this reunion began with a wasp sting. The Fox family was gathered together on it. That's the Fox family is real people, not, together, not foxes. This is like, just sort of say that. I'm sure everybody understood. The Fox family was gathered together on a warm day in the summer of the year, in the late 90s, having a picnic lunch at Ambley Museum. Christopher, the youngest member, then 10, had brought along his best friend, Ollie. They'd become friends since meeting at the school in Worthing. Proceedings were rudely interrupted when Chris was stung by a wasp and was taken away to have some treatment to the wound. Ollie stayed with the grown-ups to make nice and to prevent Ollie from feeling awkward. Chris's grandmother Joyce began asking him about his plans for the rest of the school holidays. "Well," said Ollie, "I'm going to Marlow," adding, "in Buckinghamshire," not expecting his listeners to know where it was. "Really?" replied Joyce. "I know Marlow very well. I was evacuated there during the war." "Oh," continued Ollie, "my nan was evacuated there too." Then, with a knowledge that would probably escape most 10-year-olds, he added, "Her name then was Betty Pierce." "Betty Pierce?" gasped Joyce. After a brief confirmation of the facts, she explained, "We lived next door to each other in East Ham. Our families were evacuated there to Marlow together." Needless to say, contact between the long-lost best friends was soon made. Joyce, Christopher's grandmother, and Betty, Oliver's grandmother, incredibly were discovered to be living only 2 miles apart in Worthing. Subsequently, meetings with the United Friends became frequent, all thanks to a well-informed 10-year-old boy, his best friend Christopher, and a wasp. Now that's an amazing little piece of coincidence. If you've got a piece of coincidence, do let us know. We'd love to hear your stories of coincidence, coincidence, however you want to pronounce it.
Coinky-dink.
Coinky-dink.
That's how I like to say it. Don't bust it.
I'm not busting it. I'm just trying to type with it.
It looked like you were doing what I do when I end up spinning stuff on my keyboard. Turn it upside down. Quick, tap out as much of it as I can.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I put new batteries in. Didn't seem to make the slightest difference. I can't type with it now. I don't know why that is.
You've turned it off and on again, haven't you?
Yeah, Magnus Pike. I can't show you for the moment. I'll muck about with it during the next video.
No worries.
Right. Okay. So we've done that. How are we doing on the time? We've got time to squeeze in a phone call if anyone wants to give us a tinkle.
Squeeze in the phone call.
I know. I don't like this. I don't. I love having all the stuff, but I enjoy the phone calls and people calling in and having a chat. But I don't like to then think, oh, you haven't got a lot of time. But it'd be lovely to squeeze in a bit of a phone call. 07934746790, because I think, you know, the viewer's voice is very important to it, and we show it in lots of different ways, of course. But if you've got a coincidental story, a story of coincidence, I'm just trying to think of coincidences in my life. You know, you think of something and then you think of a person and then they ring, that sort of thing. That's quite a common thing, isn't it? But there's some people who just don't believe that coincidences, there's anything unusual about a coincidence. It is exactly what it says. Wasp Factory was a weird book, says Benita Holland. I've heard the title. I don't know what it was about. It's a famous book, isn't it? Colonel Stevens, Line Henry. Here we go. Here's a phone call. Let's find out who this is. Hello to the caller calling in on the Vobes show. Hello to you.
But there's some people who...
Oh, hello, Richard.
Hello, yes, who's that?
Hello, it's Sean.
Hello, Sean. How the devil are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just got confused then because there's a delay on the internet to the phone call.
Yes, sorry about that. You have to sort of mute the YouTube channel because there is, and of course the delay is different from everybody.
Yeah, I didn't realise it.
But
me.
No, that's all right.
I thought I got through to your answer phone. I thought, oh, that's not good.
Hello, this is the Vobes answer phone. Thank you for calling.
I'd just like to say,
yes.
Call me back and I'll leave that phone. Brilliant. Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for playing the video, and I know it was a bit long, but
no, that's all right. I know we've got your other video, but I'm playing it after we've heard from Mike.
No, that's why I didn't expect to do it so soon. I just suddenly realised that when you played it accidentally, first of all, that it's in the same key as Vivaldi's one of the winter songs. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, is it? Are you a musician as well as a clever clogs?
Used to be. Well, yeah, used to be. Actually, I'm not into trains as much as everyone thinks. I mean, I went out there to show the nature reserve, the reservoir, and everything that they put out there since they put this bypass, which was a bit of a headache to start with.
Yeah.
It's been out there since 5-6 years. But what they've done with the landscape and the wildlife that they've helped and the trees they planted, and it's actually had quite a nice drive along that road as well. That's my intention was to do that. Of course, that it's so waterlogged out there, so there's no chance of getting across until probably the springtime when I get out there and do some proper filming. So I thought, let's just do the viaduct and see, because I've been out there for years wandering around doing various things, and I never knew where it was. I thought, it'd just be interesting to see this ghostly apparition, perhaps, when I announce it and it appear in front of our eyes.
So do you have well, yeah, absolutely. And do you have you have your own YouTube channel? You sort of hinted that you're doing more.
Well, yeah, but I've only got those 2 or 3 videos on there. I think I've about 4 actually. I've got one on private. I should actually release it. It was something that I did, I think last year. Well, I didn't do it. I did some some photo shoots. It was something called a vision board, which to certain people might understand what that is in sort of the pagan world. So I did there's something else on that lasts about a minute with some music from a friend of mine called Wendy Rule, who's a musician and does all sorts of things. So I'll click public on that one because I've got 4 videos on there, but I haven't really. That's all I got on there. Apart from the Discovery Walk 1, of course, which I did the week before, after I saw your first video, because I'm a newbie Vobie, and I saw the video. Sunday morning I went out and just filmed myself walking around the street, but I did it portrait, not landscape. So
yes.
It's all wrong. Like, I suddenly saw your instructions. I thought, yes, hold it landscape, do it properly. As it's so squinchy.
Well, obviously you can do it the other way. It's just that, and then that works very well on Instagram. And that's where Instagram really sort of confused people, and I can understand that, because people are holding their phones like this, and it is easier because it's a phone doing it, and then it feels alien to turn it on its side. But if you've come from any ordinary stills photography or mostly or video, that landscape is the way that the cameras are all designed. Television's designed that way, cinema's designed that way. It's very unusual to actually do things portrait.
Yeah, it just looks a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you play the song later, I do also explain to the viewers that the sound quality is very poor. The reason for it is I recorded about 30 years ago, and it was just a simple song. I've written loads of other stuff, but the only thing that's lasted was on an audio cassette. I recorded it in Bexhill Music Shop, and it was on one of those old-fashioned reel-to-reel things that a friend had. So I eventually got it onto a cassette, and then I recorded it. I couldn't get it onto YouTube. I did it about 4 or 5 years ago, and I didn't know how to work out YouTube then. So I just recorded it live on Facebook. So the sound quality is coming through this little tinny CD player with a cassette thing in it, of course. So it's coming through a cassette player, rather, coming through, from Facebook onto YouTube when I worked out how to do it. So apologies if it's a bit ropey. That's why I put the lyrics in there as well, because I thought.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Yeah, so a little ditty it were, but I've got other stuff, brass band pieces and orchestral pieces, but I can't really get them. They're all on cassette, and they're
Yeah, it's difficult getting that stuff off. I think Julia was going to ask a question.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay. Conversation.
Oh, she's got comment. So you wrote that piece. You see, when it came in, I just watched it, because sometimes you're running around and you read the email that comes with it. You go, oh, right, okay, that's Sean. Right, okay, great. I'll put that over here. And it's like you're busy and you're doing this, and then I watched the video and I was watching it thinking, oh, okay, it sounded like it was an old vintage recording, because of the way you recorded it. And so that's what so immediately I went, oh, he's found this old vintage recording, and I thought, that's interesting, because I'll play that after Mike's video, because they two are quite in their own way, and you'll see when you see Mike's video, they're quite connected, and it makes the show look like we've actually got some sense to it, although
Oh, that's good. I like the feel of it, me playing it 100 years ago. There's a piano skittling along.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's what I thought. And of course I was reading the lyrics, and the people would see it, and I was going, well, what is this? What is the secret? What is the secret that you're going to tell them? What is it?
It's hidden. The secret's hidden within the secret.
Yeah,
but it's a very old song. I can't remember if I wrote it for a little competition at the time or something, but it was. I think so much, and I've forgotten so much as well. But work takes over, and when I was a young lad, I came into life late as a musician. I think the music teacher, I was rubbish at everything else at school apart from English. And then I was just playing the piano one day, and then the music teacher, one or the other, said, what are you doing? I'm just making up tunes. And she said, great. So it really influenced me. So I tried to do it, and I think I managed to get my A level in music and so on and so on. But it's I remember going to Exeter College or university, and that's the only one that accepted me to go and do a degree. But I didn't go because first of all it was quite a long way away, and I just fallen in love with the young lady. But the other thing is that they didn't let you play original music. You had to, the orchestra that was there would only play composers. And I thought, oh, okay, oh well. So I just got lazy, and but I've done it amateurly and been on stage and done all sorts of crazy things. But music, so it's always with us, though, isn't it? If you don't stop writing or creating, you enjoy what other people do. It's all around you. It's wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Oh, definitely. And well, that explains a lot, because as soon as I saw your video, I thought, hello, look, this is a very personal sort of chap. And you can sort of tell there's something about somebody who's been on stage and performed when they talk, and there's a certain level of confidence, which is why I was thinking, oh yeah, you should definitely do some more videos, because you've got the personality, and of course you've got and in your video you had all that knowledge, and I always try to, where possible, to encourage people, because I think even if people don't have anybody really to show videos to, it's a great device for learning communication skills, and we all need to be able to communicate. Even if, even if it is you're just walking through and nobody watches your channel, the fact that you've done it has has made you put into words thoughts that are otherwise just floating in the head.
Yes, expression, isn't it?
Yeah,
saying what you feel, what you think, in your own way as well.
Absolutely, and it gives people confidence.
Yeah, yes, as well, because if people try and follow format, I mean, yes, I was influenced by your videos. I thought, that's great, I'm going to go and have a bash at that myself. I've got some software that I use at work, string them together, make a little video. But when everybody sends things in, the art that people send in, the chats they do, the mixture of the poems, it's just great. It's a lovely little community, and I'm really glad. I stumbled across your video about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the one you did on smugglers.
Oh, blimey. Oh, yeah, the smugglers on the Romney Marshes, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting bored with the book I was reading. I think I'll just go on YouTube and see if someone can tell me a little bit more, because I love that kind of, smuggling, that kind of piracy days, especially, being from in Bexhill, which is near Hastings.
Yeah.
And Rye my wife and I go to Rye as often as we can. When
it's lovely. I must get over to Rye. It's just such a trek from Worthing, but it's a lovely place.
Yeah, it certainly is. But what I was going to do is actually, I said to my wife the other day, I said, actually, in the next video, when we're all out of this lockdown, why don't I just do a video of Rye? I know, like the back of my both hands, because I've done a lot. I've been over there a lot, for doing. It's a very sacred town to me. It's a very ancient town, as we all know, but it's just so peaceful there. The church, St Mary's Church, the inns, the Mermaid Inn that you went into and found secret cupboards.
When I was filming in that video, quick story short, we were filming, and I can't remember who I had with me. I can't remember if it was one of my sons, or I think it was Mr. Pegram or somebody. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was there, and we were filming, and this bloke came up to me and, what are you doing? Like this. And I looked again. It was Tom Baker, the Doctor Who.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, my God.
He's around here. Brilliant.
So I had a long old chat with him.
Yeah.
And he was great fun. He was, I wish I'd filmed it and taken a picture, but I just felt, because we were with the camera and all that, and it just felt like, where do you put yourself? You're not quite a member of the public, because you've got a camera on a stand, and it was my big camera as well, so it looked like I was doing a proper video. So of course I didn't want to go, can I have your autograph?
Oh, you should have.
He's such a lovely chap. A friend of ours met him a few years ago, and her kids never knew him, but because they were quite young. But he's got time in the world for everybody, hasn't he?
He was just walking along as if it was back down by the big arch.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
It was just down there, and we were filming the arch, and then he just wandered up, and he was going, what are you up to? He felt, and he was like, it was almost as if he wanted to get involved. I thought, there's somebody who loves to be in front of the cameras, or he wanted to know all about it.
Yes.
Take
on my own tour. Brilliant stuff. Yes, we'll see if we can get him on the show.
Yeah, definitely. That would be hilarious.
He might stumble across the broadcast we're doing now.
Well, you never know who listens to this.
You never know. Absolutely. Never know. Brilliant. But I must do some more videos going forward. I'm hectic at work as
as I usually am, but the odd weekend gives me a chance to go out to the woods if I can again when the water's gone down a bit. But definitely right to do a little
Yeah,
quick
do.
footage of
We'd
that. But
we'd love to
I
have
will
them.
keep it shorter. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
keep it shorter because I know when you look at the show.
Well, for
you
the
know,
show, because it
it's-
eats up
takes
so
a lot
much
of time.
time. Talking of
does,
which, we better
Yes, we are.
move on.
Sorry.
No, it's all
Before
right.
you go though, Sean,
Anyway,
before
nice
you
to
do this,
chat
Sean,
to you.
Hang on, before you go, Julia wants to say a few
Yep.
words.
would you like a jelly baby?
Would you like a jelly baby? I thought you said you'd like to tell me, baby. I thought, tell you what, baby.
Oh. So
I
I
tell you,
must
the
be
sky is blue, all right? Yes, I'd love a jelly baby. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. Lovely to hear
Thanks,
from you.
thank you both. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Julia.
You take
Nice to
care.
chat with you.
Take
you
it.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
There we go. That's it. That's the lovely Sean. Could you hear him all right? Because on my phone, in my headphones, the callers always sound very quiet. Did he sound...
It was a little quiet.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
got
sure
to
if it's
fiddle
quite
with
loud
my...
today or not, but-
Got to fiddle with my system because somehow the calls are not coming in as loud as they ought to, but I'll worry about that on another
I'm
occasion.
so jealous you met Tom Baker.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not there. Why did I not know you back then? It's really not
I can't help it. Right, we must move on. I'm sure there's lots and lots of comments and stuff to get through. Was Tom wearing his long scarf? He did have a big overcoat on. It was quite cold, if I remember rightly, but he didn't have his long scarf. Right, let's go to another video now, if that's all right with everybody else.
I should think it is.
Excellent. And okay, now you may remember Mike Stevens gave us a stunning revelation that he had met Jesus Christ. Now, some people may be a bit skeptical and other people may go, well, that's perfectly normal. I've met him myself down at the old King and Bush. King and Bush, I don't know what that is.
Holy Ghost himself.
The Holy Ghost, down at the Holy Ghost. So we had a lot of comments. We had a bit of a debate about it. I am a skeptical person, I'm afraid to say, but I'm absolutely open to people having their beliefs and their right to their beliefs, and the fact that the Vobe show is a place that people can share that, and we are a nice bunch of people, and so we don't take anybody who's rude or anything like that would just get shot at them because it's a big thing. But because we had that debate, Mike thought, I better answer some of these questions, which is done with this video.
Hello gentlefolks all, Mike here, and I thought I would answer some queries that were raised on showing of my last video where I met Jesus Christ. Have I met any ghosts? Well, the only thing that happened was when my father died, after my father died, I was just in my kitchen at home and I saw like a yellow cloud suddenly appear in the kitchen, and it sort of hovered over his favourite chair just for a few seconds and then went away. It was like a yellow mist. No words were said or anything. I didn't ask it anything, but I'm sure that was the spirit of my father. And also my cat Daisy has passed away recently, as many of you know. I did pray if I could speak to Daisy after that, and I had a reply that Daisy said I must not tell anybody that she died peacefully in her sleep. I must say that she died in a lot of pain, and I did tell people that, as you know. So unfortunately she did die in a lot of pain. And the other thing she said was, live life, just live life. I think Richard raised the question, if people hear voices in their head, someone goes to murder their parents and someone else says to hug their parents, how do they know? Well, that is simply a case of good and evil. All of us know, I think, the difference between good and evil. Murdering the parents is evil, obviously. I don't need to say that to anybody. But when I met Jesus, it was not like any of those experiences. It was like talking to another being, really, and a human and a God combined. It was so overwhelming. Like I said in the other video, it's like someone giving you an enormous hug and just saying, well, ask me anything you want, and I did. And asked loads of questions since then. It is not about financial gain. You can't say what are the next numbers on the next national lottery, because that will never ever be answered. But you can ask questions about life, and I've had all my questions answered. So I hope that's helped somebody, or anybody at all. Other people who said they're depressed, well, we all get depressed from time to time, but I know the Spirit of the Lord is inside me, and I wish other people could know this as well. And when you have the Spirit of the Lord inside you, it just spurs you on. All you have to do is ask Jesus. And it is a very debatable subject. Wars have been fought over religion, so let's not go there. There are answers, but this isn't the place for it. Okay, good night. Mike signing off. Good night, gentlefolks all.
There we go. How about that? There we are. It's answered. Well, I don't know whether it's answered questions or just made more questions, because I did actually get in touch with Mike after the event and ask quite a few questions after that, because it was intriguing. It's not every day you get somebody so openly say, oh, by the way, you know, I've just been chatting to Jesus Christ the other day, and he asked some questions. Yeah, what did you make of that, Julia?
I couldn't stop thinking about little Daisy, that little message from Daisy. Oh, bless her.
I was slightly confused by that, Mike, really, that, you know, don't tell her that she died peaceful and asleep. She wanted people to know that she died in pain. I couldn't quite work out why a cat would say that, but I'm not questioning you. It confused me, that was all. Mm-hmm. But clearly, you know, you loved her, and I suppose it's about not deceiving people.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I thought that was very interesting. Again, it still does raise more questions, doesn't it? I mean, but it's that type of subject. Well, it is that subject that just does cause more questions. It doesn't matter how good a question you ask, there's still the answer is going to create 1,000 more. Don't you think?
No, absolutely. I mean, I did ask Mike a series of questions, because I said to him, look, you know, thanks for that. I hope you don't mind. You did it very publicly and what have you. And I've got a few more questions that I'd love to ask you. And I asked him, you know, very politely, things like, well, when you saw Jesus in the church that he talked about before, I said, what was he like? Was it like, you know, in your head? Was it like a real person? Was he floating? Was he sitting on anything? And Mike did answer these questions, and he said, well, you know, it was like a real person, but I just, I only looked at his eyes, which I find difficult, because if it was somebody who said, oh, you know, ask me any question, I'm Jesus, my order was like, I'd be looking him up and down, going, is this not a lie? First of all, before I would just believe it, I would think, sorry, mate, you pulling my leg, because you just wouldn't expect Jesus to walk up to you and go, well, and answer, you know, ask me any questions. And also in that, Mike also said, you know, well, you can't ask for financial gain. How do you know?
Because it doesn't work like that.
But how do you know?
Otherwise we'd all be rich.
Well, you know, maybe the people who are rich are the ones who've asked for financial gain.
Well, yeah, I can't comment on that.
No, but I when people say, I guess that's where I guess I'm so rooted in a very earthy way, but not a spiritual way, because I would love to be able to. I'd love to be able to see ghosts. I'd love to be able to talk to Jesus Christ or whoever. I'd love to be able to communicate with. But I find it very difficult, because I'm very rational and very logical, and so. When Mike,
I wish you could talk to ghosts as well and see ghosts. Yeah. Then you wouldn't ask us these questions.
Well, I know, but it's like the people who say they've witnessed these things, and I'm saying, well, how does it work then? How do you know? I need to know a bit more than that, because otherwise it's too vague. You know, it's like when you see people on the stage or mediums, and they're going, oh yeah, someone's talking to me. I say, well, find out when they were born, where they were born. Let's see if we can find their birth certificate, and then they don't want to know that. So when you press people, whereas if you were attacked or mugged in the street and the police ask you questions about it, you would be doing your damnedest to prove who that person was. But when it's the number one, God, or one of the number one gods, and you say, well, what did he look like? Did he have a beard? Was he wearing ordinary clothes? How long did it last? How did he get there? Did he come by car? Did he bike in? Did he just appear? How? And it's like, you would think, this is how my mind works, and this is no disrespect at all intended to Mike, is that you would think whoever it is who's responding would go, oh, no, it was exactly like this. There was nobody there, then there was somebody there. They sort of materialised. You would think that people would try and describe it less vaguely. That's really my point, I suppose, because otherwise you can assume that people are making it up, because it's just so easy to say, oh yeah, I had a word with my dad yesterday, and they go, oh dear, how did you do that? Oh, he just, he spoke to me. I mean, my dad's been dead for 2 years now, so it would be very unusual for me to have that. And so surely people would say, well, what did he look like? Was he young at the time? Was he old? Did he have a beard on? Was he still suffering from dementia in the ghost world? These are all questions that I would like to know.
Yeah. Well, either way, I absolutely respect Mike for
oh, absolutely. No, I can I'm just telling you how I, as a skeptical type of person who needs a bit more pushing to sort of fully accept it, but I also respect that's what people saw, felt, believe, experience. I'm not questioning that, what is there to gain to make it up?
Well, yeah, exactly. It is what he's experienced, and that is to be respected.
Exactly, yeah.
Also, you talked so much, I forgot what I was going to say.
Sorry.
It's okay. But thank you for sharing that, Mike. That's what I was going to say. I'm really pleased that he has found that, that he has that to comfort, and he feels that love within himself.
Yes. Yes, and the confidence and all of that goes with it, I guess. I mean, I suppose the one other thing would be is why so few people? Because I did go to bed the other night, and I thought, all right then, why don't you contact me? I'd love to talk to you. We'd have a in-conversation phone call. Come on the show. Tell people you're here. I know, it doesn't work like that. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You're bored.
Yeah.
That's very cutting, Julia. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
That's very cutting. But never mind. We'll persevere. I will play something in. I'm bored now. We will play in a video from Sean, which I wanted to play in after this because I thought it sort of followed on. And if I can find it now, I think it's Sean 1 because we got it wrong last time.
I know a secret, and you know it too. So let's tell the world tonight.
So the thing is, I want to know what the secret is. I want to know what it is. It's brilliant. Thank you so much, Sean, and thank you for explaining how you recorded it. And as Ed Loud says there, where is the comment? I love the way this sounds like a tape. You just can't fake that distortion. I adore the sound. Yeah, and there's me trying desperately not to create distortion when recording out in the wild. But it's all good fun. Thank you so much for that. We're running out of time rather rapidly. I want to show you Mr. Norris's video because, again, it's sort of ethereal in a different way for me. And it speaks to me in lots of different ways. And then we will wrap up the show for the night. And then we've got the rest of the week ahead of us. So over to Croatia with the wonderful Andrew Norris. How about that? There we are. How about that? That's amazing. That was incredible.
Endlessly talented, that man.
Yes, I know. I don't know how it works. It's the envy. Look, green envy. Fantastic. Thank you so much for all of the contributions in today's show. Just making sure that we haven't. I've got one more piece of art which I'm going to leave until on Wednesday, which is from a friend of Mike's. We'll put that in on Wednesday, and you'll probably see why, because it sort of will just sort of cut through the mood that we've got at the moment. But thank you very much. I think we showed everything. We had contributions from Andrew Norris, from Mike Stevens, from Nikki, from Sean twice, from Jonathan Fox for the story. Thank you. From Peter Telling, Colonel Cragratty on the poem. We had Robin Jones's Robin, and we had Susan Luca's Unfinished Art. Thanks to Julia for reading out the poem. That was really lovely.
My pleasure. Thank you for letting me.
That's all right. And of course, to everybody out there, for all your wonderful comments and keeping the show going on. Trying not to let the show just expand to over an hour and a half, because people got things to do, and I've got things to do. I've got a video to think about for tomorrow, and
I've got boys to go and kiss this week.
Yes, that's it. It's a busy old time. Robert Croser says, a message from Andrew. He's very touched by all the comments, everyone. Oh, marvellous.
Bless him.
That's good. Has he disappeared then? Is that why he's had to write the mark?
So,
Robert's done it in capitals. I don't know. That's brilliant. Linley's 360 says, hey, guessing it's a February, it's getting nearer to springtime. Yes, that was a spelling error. I'm sorry about that, but it works, doesn't it? It's a February. Let's hope that we have a Fab February. That would be good. Jeff Sussex says more. There's no more tonight, I'm afraid. So thank you all, one and all. Thank you to lovely Julia for coming and joining us today.
Thank you for Richard for putting all this together again.
That's all right. And we will, and thank you to Judith. Thank you for Judith out there making sure. We seem to have got a good crowd who don't need a spanner on the head, no. which is marvellous. So there we go. Wonderful. Look after yourselves. Have a good week. I hope the weather is not too bleak wherever you are. I heard from, and I think Julia also heard from Fran and Rich floating our boat. They're iced in on the canal where they are. I think the Shropshire Union or somewhere up there in Shropshire. Iced in. The canal is frozen over and they're running out of water. So I did think I might have to fill up my my van with buckets of water and take it up to them. So I hope we get a bit of sunshine. Take care, look after yourselves. It's been lovely to be here again, and we'll see you in the rest of the week. Until then, thank you very much.
Bye for now, folks.
Goodbye. Take care. I normally type, thanks for watching, but I've been defeated by my keyboard. I can't type a damn thing. I don't know what's the matter with it. It must have got broken. I'll have a keyboard for... Oh, yeah. Thanks for watching. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.